There's something that happens to certain people that nobody ever warns them about. You feel things deeply, not just a little more than others, but on a completely different level. A song doesn't just sound good. It reaches somewhere inside you that you can't explain. A conversation doesn't just end. It replays in your mind for days. A moment of disappointment doesn't just sting. It settles into you like weather. And for most of your life, you've probably been told, directly or indirectly, that this is a problem. You're too sensitive. You take things too personally. You need to toughen up. So you tried. You built walls. You learned to minimize. You practiced not caring. You got very good at pretending that things didn't affect you the way they did. But here's what no one ever told you. What you've been running from your entire life is not a flaw. It is a feature, a rare, powerful, psychologically significant feature that most people on this planet will never possess. And today, we're going to talk about exactly what it means. Psychology has a name for what you experience. It's called emotional sensitivity. And in its deeper, more structured form, researchers refer to it as high sensory processing sensitivity, a trait identified and studied extensively by psychologist Dr. Elaine Aron. Here's the critical fact that changes everything. This is not a disorder. It is not anxiety. It is not weakness dressed up in clinical language. It is a neurological difference. The brains of highly sensitive people, and studies suggest this applies to roughly 15 to 20% of the population, actually process sensory and emotional information more deeply than others, more thoroughly, more completely. Think about what that means for a moment. While most people experience the world in standard definition, you are running in 4K. Every texture, every subtext, every unspoken tension in a room. You catch it. You process it. You feel the weight of it. That isn't weakness. That is a different kind of perception. And perception, throughout human history, has always been power. But let's be honest about something first, because this channel doesn't deal in false comfort. Living with emotional depth is genuinely hard. You cry at things that confuse other people. You feel the pain of strangers as though it's your own. You walk into a room and immediately absorb the emotional temperature of everyone in it. And sometimes that temperature is cold or angry or grieving, and you carry that weight without anyone asking you to. You replay conversations. You notice the exact moment someone's tone shifted. You feel the ghosts of things that have already ended. You grieve longer. You love harder. You worry in dimensions that other people haven't even discovered yet. And the cruelest part? Because it's all happening internally, because you rarely show the full extent of what you're experiencing, people assume you're fine. People assume you're handling it. People have no idea how loud it is inside your mind on an ordinary Tuesday afternoon. This is the invisible burden of emotional depth, and it is real, and it deserves to be named before we move forward. But here is where the psychology gets extraordinary, because every one of those traits that makes your inner life so exhausting is simultaneously the source of capabilities that the world desperately needs and rarely finds. Let's break this down. The first thing your emotional depth gives you is empathic accuracy. This is the ability to read people, not just their words, but their true emotional state beneath the words. Research from the field of social neuroscience shows that highly sensitive individuals have significantly heightened activity in mirror neuron systems, the part of the brain responsible for understanding and feeling what others are experiencing. What this means practically: you are extraordinarily good at understanding people. You know when someone is pretending to be okay. You feel the unspoken grief in a room. You sense hesitation in a voice before the person is even fully aware of it themselves. This is not imagination. This is neurological attunement. In every era of human civilization, the healer, the counselor, the storyteller, the leader who could hold a community together was someone exactly like you, someone who could feel the pulse of the people around them and respond with precision. Your empathic accuracy is not a soft skill. It is one of the rarest and most valuable forms of intelligence that exists. The second gift is depth of processing. When most people encounter an experience, a conversation, a decision, a creative problem, they process it to a functional level and move on. They extract what they need and release the rest. You don't do that. You turn experiences over. You examine them from multiple angles. You find the layer beneath the layer. You ask the question underneath the question. And while this can feel like overthinking, while it can feel like a curse on a sleepless night, it is actually the cognitive signature of people who produce some of the most original thinking in any field they enter. Researchers studying highly sensitive people consistently find elevated creativity, stronger pattern recognition, and a greater capacity for nuanced judgment. Because depth of processing isn't just emotional, it's intellectual. It's how you approach everything. The person who builds something truly new, a piece of art that moves people, a solution that no one else saw, a perspective that shifts how others understand the world, is almost never the person who processes things quickly and shallowly. It's the person who couldn't stop thinking about it. That person is you. The third gift is authentic connection. There is an epidemic of surface-level connection in the modern world. People are surrounded by others and profoundly alone. Conversations are performances. Relationships are managed rather than felt. And into that world, you walk, someone who is only capable of going deep. You can't do small talk for long before it starts to feel hollow. You don't want to know someone's resume. You want to know what keeps them up at night, what they're afraid of, what they're quietly hoping for. You offer a quality of presence and understanding that most people have never experienced in their entire lives. When people truly open up to you, when they let themselves be seen by you, they feel something rare. They feel actually known. That is a profound gift. In a world that is desperate for genuine human connection, your inability to be superficial is not a social handicap. It is a form of relational wealth that most people spend their entire lives searching for and never find. The fourth gift is emotional intelligence under pressure. Here's something that might surprise you. Highly sensitive people, despite feeling more, are not less capable under emotional pressure. In many contexts, they are more capable because they have spent their entire lives learning to navigate intense inner states. You have been managing emotional complexity since childhood. You developed internal regulation strategies that most people never needed to build because most people were never tested the way you were. This means that in moments of genuine crisis, when something difficult and real is happening, you often become a still point, not because you feel less, but because you've had so much practice holding difficult feelings without being destroyed by them. People are drawn to you in their worst moments, not because you have easy answers, but because you can sit in the dark with them without flinching. That is an extraordinary form of strength. The fifth gift, and perhaps the deepest, is what we might call aesthetic intelligence. Highly sensitive people experience beauty differently. Music doesn't just sound pleasant. It communicates something. Art doesn't just look appealing. It speaks. Nature doesn't just exist in the background. It resonates. This heightened aesthetic perception is directly tied to depth of emotional processing, because beauty at its core is not a visual or auditory experience. It is an emotional one. It is a moment when something external aligns with something deep and true inside you, and you recognize it. Most people walk past that alignment without noticing it. You stop, you feel it, you remember it. This is why so many of the most moving creative works in human history, the music, the literature, the film, the art, came from people exactly like you, people who felt too much, people who couldn't look away from what was real, people who transformed their inner intensity into something the rest of the world could finally understand about itself. Your sensitivity is not separate from your creativity. It is the engine of it. So let's take a step back and look at the full picture. You have neurologically heightened empathy. You process experiences with unusual depth and precision. You form connections of rare authenticity. You have developed emotional resilience through a lifetime of navigating inner intensity. And you perceive beauty and meaning in ways that most people are simply not wired to access. The question was never, what is wrong with you? The question, the real question, has always been, why were you taught to hide all of this? Here's the honest answer. You were taught to hide it because the systems you grew up in, schools, workplaces, social norms, were not designed for people like you. They were designed for efficiency, for speed, for a particular kind of performance. And you didn't fit that performance, not because you were broken, but because you were operating on a different frequency entirely. The world rewards loudness. You are quiet with your power. The world rewards quick answers. You take your time to find true ones. The world rewards distance. You are constitutionally incapable of it. And so the world looked at you and said, something is wrong here. But the world was wrong. There's a concept in psychology called post-traumatic growth. The idea that certain individuals, after passing through genuine hardship, don't just return to who they were before. They emerge more capable, more wise, more deeply human than they were at the start. Highly sensitive people are, in many ways, natural candidates for this kind of growth, because you have never been allowed the luxury of numbness. You have always had to feel it. And in the feeling, you have been quietly, continuously becoming someone of unusual depth and unusual capacity. The pain of feeling too much was never wasted. It was curriculum. Every moment of overwhelm, every tear that didn't make sense to anyone else, every sleepless night with the weight of the world settled in your chest. It was building something in you. It was building you. So the next time you feel everything at once, the next time a song breaks you open or a kind word undoes you, or the weight of someone else's suffering lands in your body like it's your own, don't apologize for it. Don't minimize it. Don't perform numbness to make other people comfortable. Instead, recognize it for what it is, a signal, evidence of a nervous system calibrated for something greater than ordinary, evidence of a mind that refuses to skim the surface of existence when the depths are right there, waiting. The world doesn't need more people who feel less. It needs more people who have the courage to keep feeling. You are one of those people. And that has always been exactly enough. If this spoke to something in you, something you've been carrying quietly for a long time, consider sharing it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you want to understand more about the hidden architecture of your mind, there's more waiting for you here.